football, anyone? What's happening, people? This is Fernand. And this is my live show, looking at the cool creative production madness happening behind the scenes of live TV today. Whew. Everything is bigger in America. The cars, the food, the people. No, not really. But when it comes to sports, our neighbours across the pond really know the definition of the big game. Its sheer scale alone is known worldwide, and watching with all the trimmings, aka Super Bowl food, is a well-known tradition. Even I did it back in February. In fact, it's America's most watched TV program ever, with a whopping 114.4 million viewers for the 2015 edition. For context, this is about the same as the population of Ethiopia, but for broadcast officials, it's a touchdown. So the Super Bowl, and for over 55 editions, has not only provided legendary moments in sports, but in its equally gargantuan halftime interlude. The halftime show, probably more famous than the game itself, has been the stage for some of the most iconic moments in live TV entertainment. Lady Gaga jumping off a roof into a stadium, Diana Ross leaving a stadium through the roof via helicopter, a certain costume jumping off of Janet Jackson's chest. Yeah, we all know that one. Even an infamous left shark stealing the show, featuring a little known Katy Perry of 2015. This is probably why the viewership did so well in that year. Big names equals a big spectacle equals a big show. And with COVID-19 completely changing the face of live TV forever, who better to headline a football game's interlude? No one but The Weeknd, of course. And with huge impressive performances such as from the MTV VMAs, check out my little video here, to the American Music Awards, and even breaking the fourth wall, and then some at Colbert, us viewers will be in for a treat. However, the dazzling heights of the Super Bowl halftime show wasn't always about big pop numbers, fireworks and Beyonce. In fact, it all stemmed from rather humble beginnings. So here's a little rundown as to how it all came together. 55 games, 55 halftime shows, and the very first Super Bowl in 1967, back then known as the first AFL-NFL World Championship game, had a very modest show by today's standards, but equally was an exciting watch. The halftime show had a marching band from the University of Arizona to the sounds of Al Hurt, 300 pigeons, 10,000 balloons, and topping it all off with not one, but two men on jetpacks. Marching bands were a common sight at subsequent halftime shows heading into the 70s, where drill teams and varied performance ensembles with big themes took over into the 80s. After many years of visually impressive, wholesome, family-friendly entertainment, and to stop other networks luring viewers away with other programs, this all changed. 1991 featured one of the biggest boy bands of the time, the New Kids on the Block, featuring a whole raft of Disney characters. Hi everybody! 1992 featured Gloria Estefan bringing winter delights. Then in 1993, the world's biggest superstar, the King of Pop, exploded on stage, driving a stadium of 98,000 into a frenzy as he kept them waiting and waiting and waiting. With big pop names, the NFL knew they were onto a winner. Since then, a slew of other artists have graced the stage. You name it, they've performed. From the Rolling Stones, the biggest ever set constructed in 2005, to a medley of 6 artists at the same time, to Beyonce, twice, with Destiny's Child in 2013, and Coldplay and Bruno Mars in 2016. Though Justin Timberlake and Gloria Estefan beat her and a number of other artists appearing in the halftime show at 3 times each. The 2021 Super Bowl is at the Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. This year sees a unique setup to a stadium audience of 24,000, down from the 70,000 it could hold, with spacing on seats cleverly filled with paper cutouts.
Yeah, subscribe to this channel and you too could be an NFL champion, man.
So, what do you do when you have one of the world's biggest names in music taken to the stage that's equally had some of the world's biggest names in music? How do you top that? Leave it to the biggest names in production. That's how. Veteran Super Bowl production designer Bruce Rogers' vision of The Weeknd featured a dazzling city in a stadium. Big, bright, detailed with some minimalism and The Weeknd's brand of dizzying disorientation. Easy for a veteran, right? Well, add in the global panoramic. Coronavirus! And this means being daring while still adhering to strict social distancing guidelines.
We combined 3 set shops to build one set design. We've never done that before. Our industry has been really hurt, so a lot of those people that would help us get the show out on the field are home right now watching.
In previous years, it would be expected to use a football field, where lights, kit, staging, and everything necessary would be shuttled on in carts, usually in about 7 minutes. This year, attention was focused on the north stand of the stadium, which its prime location was an open and busy thoroughfare for the public, which was closed and locked off during the halftime performance. This was to help show team members avoid using the same tunnels as a football team to help maintain social distancing, but also provided a fantastic opportunity to build a set that would be 3 times larger than the typical field design. Instead of a prefabricated stage assembled in less than 10 minutes, this impressive get-up took 3 weeks in the lead up to the game final, with the final performance changeover to take place on the day itself. More on this cool setup a little bit later. All of this whilst testing staff, crew and contractors at least every other day, very strict social distancing, wearing KN95 masks and face shielding required at all times around the stage. And what a stage it was. A raked style platform for the choir performers that was 110 foot long, 21 foot high, which also split down the middle, revealing a wall of lights, and another hidden room underneath, full of even more bright lights, reflecting walls made of gold in this titular infinity room. So, how do you set all this up from an area full of vital game furniture that's also open to the public and sells everything from tacos to popcorn that isn't stale? It's an action-packed event full of downs, touchdowns, yards and end zones, but production-wise, the Super Bowl operates in 2 modes, halftime and games time. Games time, as in the name, has a stadium and all its assets in game mode. So LED screens have game graphics, and clocks, cameras and vital game furniture are all in place. In the north stand where the halftime performance will be held is an open public zone of the stadium, with 3 fire exits and food and drink stands, all being open and very busy during the game, and is home to the stadium's most iconic feature, a 103-foot, 43-ton pirate ship, which fires cannons when the Bucks score.
Our guys. Oh, wow. Guys. Oh, wow.
This entire section was also covered in game graphics, so everything was hidden in plain sight. Cameras for the halftime show were designed to fit into the seating section near here, and the cable camera, which got up and close to the players during the game, was also used during the halftime show. This immense staging system, which housed the stage, infrastructure and computer controlled ability to split the stage, was built over this area over the course of 3 weeks. This was built by company All Access, who have worked with Super Bowl in the past. The klaxon sounds at the end of the second quarter, which means it's halftime, it's time to change over. And with most of the setup work done, all that was left to do was close this section of the stadium to the public, remove the graphics hoarding hiding the stage, and lock in final cameras, lights and vital other equipment. Cue voiceover announcer and sponsor graphics, it's showtime. This stage housed row upon row of 2D and 3D buildings, handmade and finished with LED lighting, to present the city in a stadium inspired by Fritz Lang's Metropolis, right down to the freaky LED lights in the choir's costume set on this tiered staging. For its grand entrance, the automated stage splits, revealing a wall with over 4,000 bulbs. Blinding. Inside the stage structure is a now meme-worthy infinity room filled floor to ceiling with mirrors and over 5,000 bulbs. Even more blinding. That all dance to the music, complete with a hidden set of stairs that takes Abel to the top. The top was where the Weeknd's 3-piece band stayed, and behind this, a 100-foot LED screen right to the top to further act as immersive graphics for this blinding city. All of this, scenic elements, lighting, effects, band, 80 dancers, cameras, and Abel wasn't lightweight, 44 tons. Heavy, if not blinding.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
From a creative perspective, this halftime performance was designed to act as a climax to the ongoing After Hours campaign story. Taking inspiration from the stark lighting of the Weeknd's music videos, this show was all about strong and deep contrasting colours, with impressive camera shots giving the scale and the type of show this halftimer is. Like in Heartless, for example, where it's all about rich gold and casino lights. This provided a lot of inspiration for the Infinity Room used in I Can't Feel My Face, which has the most deliciously funky version of this song I've ever heard. It is fantastic. This, together with very disorientating camera shots, just like in the music video, kind of makes us feel like a pinball, with a pinball machine just darting all over the place. Right through to cool, deep blue night whites, synonymous with a lot of his dark music videos, to give a cool night tone when on the field. I really like the stylistic glare given off by the lights here, and the further incredible light design reflecting time-lapse clouds projected onto the field. The extensive creative team, which involved the Weeknd's personal creatives and the production design, worked together to create different feels for each of his hits. From mysterious, red spotlights and not revealing the whole city on Starboy, to dystopian with smoke explosions on the hills, to a cool crisp nighttime feel for Save Your Tears. As much as this was meant to be an experience to be truly enjoyed on the screen, a lot of extra emphasis was designed for those watching the show in the stadium. For example, during Can't Feel My Face, when the Weeknd was giving us all the dizzying motion sickness in the Infinity Room, while the lights were dancing to the music there, in the stadium the lights too were going crazy, with special screen content created for the audience. The huge 9,600 square foot HD screen acts as an extension of the screen below it, and along with its twin at the opposite end of the stadium, that and 26 other screens in the stadium used as advertising and branding during game time helped with filling in backgrounds and providing cool effects whilst on the field. Here's a really cool moment using these LED screens. During I Feel It Coming, note how the moon rises from the LED screen on the back of the built stage in perfect timing with big stadium screens behind it. This is more than just playing video and aligning them on two screens, especially if there's a distance of 40 feet between them. To do this, Screens producer Drew Findlay, along with his creative and production team, worked with legendary show director Hamish Hamilton to work out which camera will be used during this time. This camera position was recreated in 3D software with the moon then lined up. Feed into graphics playback, position cameras, cue, and take the shot. And voila, seamless moon rising between two massive screens. And if that wasn't enough, check this out during the climax of Starboy. Here there's fireworks graphics firing at the same time and position as the real pyro firing in the stadium. Gorgeous attention to detail. In fact, new state-of-the-art cameras and extra lighting was drafted in to make this dream possible. All of this came at risk of an increased budget, of which the Weeknd was more than happy to provide $7 million of his own cash just to make this happen. And speaking of detailed camera shots, as is expected at Super Bowl, with great staging comes even greater camera shots and angles. And who better to direct the thing? Hamish Hamilton, award-winning director who's cut cameras from the Oscars, MTV VMAs, the Brit Awards, Victoria's Secret Live Show, the London 2012 Olympics, you name it, he's probably directed it. And with the Weeknd's range of insane hits, you'd be in for a visual ride. My favourite section has to be the exciting finale. Here we're given plenty of room for the cameras to really make its mark. It's all about impressive scale here, with the intro being big, slow wide shots to see all of the Weeknd's clones in a dazzling, almost robotic display. But the scale doesn't quite stop there, as it speeds up, hitting the chorus of blinding lights with some goosebump-raising fast cable cam shots, shooting past the dancers going crazy, until the very end when the focus is entirely on him. Shot from below, making him almost look larger than life, and incredibly powerful with all the fireworks lighting up the sky behind him. Speaking of this part of the performance, this had me bouncing around like an excited school kid. Here, the camera operators are also clad in his trademark red suits. You'd have been forgiven thinking that with all the running around of the dancers that they were parts of it too. But no, it's just a Steadicam operator and his assistant making the shots happen. When you need great shots, you only need the best kit in the business, including the high resolution Steadicam, the immersive cable cam, and dotted around the set were specific cameras mounted on rails to get really into the action. These allowed for great height and incredible close-ups, and there were 5 of them at strategic spots. Roll camera number 1 ran on 32 feet of track along the stage. Roll cameras 2, 3 and 4 were towers, with one in front of the stage on the track, one static going up and down, and one at the very top of the stage providing gorgeous reverse angles looking down on the field. The 5th one was a tower inside the stage as a backup in the Infinity Room. This was never used. Just before I go, here's some of my favourite parts of this incredible showcase. This mountain of a stage splitting apart in 2, revealing the Weeknd. If you knew how heavy this would have been, and oh so wonderfully smooth. This bit here bouncing around the place like a pinball. At this point I'm genuinely convinced the camera operator nearly fell over. In fact, this entire section I'm just a massive fan of, probably my favourite part of the show. Well, one of my favourites of the show. This well-executed shot of the moon traversing over 2 different sized and different placed screens, which isn't an easy feat to do. This camera shot tilting upwards showing the frenzy of dancers up against the stadium and the fireworks right on cue, and the camera operators in red suits, which was a nice little touch. In an era where live shows are getting bigger, more daring, more creative, and against the odds, here we're presented with one of the biggest names in music taken to the stage, a special stage of course, on one of the world's biggest shows, doing things differently but still providing a dazzling showcase. For 12 minutes, we're taken on a deep dive into the Weeknd's treasure chest of dark and cinematic visuals presented on a massive stage that wasn't just visually impressive on screen, but also was incredible for the thousands of people in the stadium. So there you have it lads, a red blazer dash to the end zone, taking a look at how the Weeknd provided one of the most dazzling shows of 2021, the halftime show. What was your favourite part of this incredible performance? Have you actually made your own meme yet, focusing on looking for something based on this incredible gold rim? Or maybe it's this great Halloween costume inspiration with red blazers and plenty of bandages? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button for more. Plus, there's plenty of previous episodes over here, so you can enjoy them to your heart's content. Till next time people, always remember, hit record and stay alive. Peace.
Yeah, subscribe to this channel and you too could be an NFL champion, man.